was close for a little bit, and then it wasn't, Kenny, for very much longer. And basically what we've seen from the Celtics all season long, they've been the best team on the floor since the opening tip of the opening night.
Well, yes, they've been great. Tonight they were extremely great in terms of this. You know, we talked about it in the pregame. You know, Jason Tatum and Brown are the best two players, all-star, all-NBA performers. But they don't have to be that every night. Kristaps Porzingis came in 38 days, haven't been here, and was their best player. So the most unique thing that we were talking about earlier, I said, there's not a fifth best player. At times, Porzingis could be the fifth best player. There is not one in the NBA like this guy. So, you know, when I say fifth best player on the floor, White can play better in a particular night. So can Drew Holiday. And sometimes Al Horford. So this guy is an all-NBA all-star, and an all-star on the verge, on the cusp every year. He's like, he could be one of those guys on the cusp. He was a unicorn in New York, but more importantly, I thought just as much as his scoring, Grant and Shaq, was his defensive presence, which is super underrated. He protects the rim. You didn't see all of those lob dunks that you saw in the last series because of his rim protection.
I think none, in fact. No lob dunks tonight for Dallas. And Porzingis came in at 7-17, Shaq, of the first quarter. From that point on, Boston outscored the Mavericks 51-31 before halftime.
I'm happy for Porzingis, you know, having the opportunity to play at this level 6 times. That's the type of game you want. You know, he's had a lot of time off. I said before the game he's either going to be great or going to be tired. I'm happy for him. He played well. This place was very loud. I was sitting on the floor. It was going crazy. Kenny makes a great point. Defensive presence, shot the ball well. Didn't do anything in the second half, but he didn't have to. I think, you know, his presence, you know, him returning, you know, keeping the crowd in the game, they played excellent ball. But the fact that Dallas, you know, came back and cut it to 8, which, you know, still tells me that they believe. Boston put them away tonight, took care of home court advantage. Game 2 is going to be very crucial. Hopefully Porzingis can come out like that and play like game 2. But listen, game 1 is always the fill-out game. I've seen a lot of guys have like great game 1s and then they kind of disappear. Tatum and Brown didn't have to do anything tonight. The place was going crazy. Porzingis carried them. But I disagree with you, Kenny. I still need my superstars to play at a high level. I'm not going to rely on the others to bring me the championship. I need the others, but I'm not going to rely on the others to carry the load.
See, I don't think Porzingis is another. I think he's a
former All-Star.
I think he. What would be the next stage if you're not the superstar, you're not the other. What is that? You are.
I think you could be a star, not a superstar.
He is a star.
Yeah.
He is a star.
He is part of the big 3, but he's been gone. The way he played tonight, if he can give me 2 or 3 more games like that, yes. But you know, they use him very well. He played at a high level. I'm happy for him, but we agree like we disagree. Like, I need my superstar to play well. When y'all beat us, Akeem still averaged 30, and you had 7 threes. Not Akeem had 15 and you had 7 threes. Akeem still had 30 and you had 7 threes. So I still need my superstars to have dominant performances.
Well put.
Had 18 of his 20 in the first half. And Grant, maybe as important as anything that happened here tonight is he came through it apparently unscathed and healthy. When he went for the chase down block on, I think that was Josh Green, I think there are a lot of folks thinking here, oh, don't do that. You're hitting shots. Don't test it that way. And he comes out the other side just fine.
Yeah, he did. And really, when you have a lower leg injury, you've been out for 30-plus days, there's a lot of uncertainty, as Shaq talked about. We didn't know what version of Porzingis we get. His offense was incredible, but defensively, the rim protection, guarding the paint. He had 3 blocks in the first half, including that incredible one right there, but just really threw them off at the rim, causing turnovers. His presence defensively was just as impressive as his presence on the offensive end. And I just love, look, I agree with both of you. I think, first of all, your stars, particularly on the road. You know, at home, your superstars don't have to necessarily bring it. Your complementary players can play great. Porzingis was that guy. The awareness that he was hot and continuing to feed him shows this team and how successful. But on the road, you know, Tatum and Brown are going to have to be big. And I know we're getting ahead of ourselves games 3 and 4, but at some point they're going to have big moments if Boston is going to win this
No,
series.
you're the only one getting ahead of yourself.
And you know what I love about Porzingis today? He seized the moment.
Yes.
From the day from the time he walked in, the look on his face, like he gave me the inclination of, man, I'm at the finals, I'm about to go to work. I haven't played in 30 days. As soon as I get it, I'm gonna do this today. He seized the moment. A lot of guys just enjoy the moment, but the ones that know and realize, doesn't matter if you have a good team, it's not for sure that you're gonna be here every year. He definitely seized the moment in the first half.
We talked a lot about three-point shooting before this game one. Boston brought it. They had 11 in the first half. Finished the night with 16 of 42.
That would be 38%.
That is 38%. Good math. They're 8-0 in the postseason with at least 15 threes. Now 61-9 on the season. Did a great job creating their own open threes, Grant, and a really good job limiting Dallas, who unofficially, we'll have to go back to the box score, I think they only took 2 corner threes tonight and missed both.
Well, their ability to defend the three-point line was incredible. In Dallas, I think how they defended Luka, particularly in the pick and roll, they didn't get into rotations and helping on the diver. We talked about Porzingis in those situations. He's able to either switch out and guard Luka or do a better job of a drop coverage, if you will, guarding Luka, but then also preventing that lob play to Gafford or Lively, which they feasted on in the previous series. So defensively, you don't get the other guys guarding P.J. Washington and Derrick Jones Jr. in rotation, now potentially open to knock down threes. And you know what? They guarded Luka tough. They made him earn every shot that he took, and obviously Kyrie Irving made him really work on the offensive end. And you know, he didn't have the efficient night Kyrie as we've seen him have, and Luka, you know, he had to make some tough shots, but defensively just impressive collectively. And you got 6 guys out there that are elite on the defensive end who commit to playing. They're long, they're athletic. Porzingis gives them that more length. Drew Holiday, Derek White, I mean, all these guys can defend. So impressive. The offense was really good in the first quarter and decent the rest of the way for Boston, but I thought the defense was supreme.
Yeah, to me, Kenny, there are 4 things you have to do against Dallas defensively if you're going to win games. To some extent, limit Luka, limit Kyrie, limit those lob dunks that they've been getting here in the postseason and late in the regular season, and the three-point opportunities from the shooters around Luka and Kyrie. They checked off 3 of those 4 boxes tonight, with Doncic scoring 30, the only one that you could argue they didn't.
Because they're more talented. They're more talented than anyone. I know the people say the East is weak. The Boston Celtics are not weak. So, and this is not a disrespect, because meaning there are great players on the Dallas Mavericks. But they're 4, 5, 6 guys would have a lot of trouble getting minutes on the Boston Celtics. No disrespect to Minnesota, who they just beat. Their 4, 5, and 6 man on Minnesota would have difficulty getting minutes on the Boston Celtics. Any other team, yeah. But the Boston Celtics, they would not play over Al Horford, Porzingis, White, and or Drew Holiday. No way. You would not play over those guys. I don't care what guys you name that are your 4, 5, 6 men in around the league. You would not play over those guys. So they have more talent, which allows them to cover better, and they can be relentless, because when you say, okay, I'm gonna give Luka a rest, I'm gonna give Kyrie a rest, they're like, oh no, we're bringing in White, we're keeping White in, we're keeping Drew Holiday, we're keeping Horford. They just can be relentless in keeping it coming. And then you have guys like Pritchard who could come in today, and Hauser, and they come in and play decent, then it's over.
It was interesting, you know, they switched a lot on Luka, Shaq. They didn't double him very often, really, until the fourth quarter. They threw Derek White at him a couple different times, but for the most part, were content to single guard him, play him as tough as possible, and not let everybody else get involved offensively.
Yeah, the only time they gave Luka problems is when Luka called for the pick and roll and brought other defenders over. But other than that, they played great defense. They kind of sagged in the lane a little bit. They wanted Dallas to shoot. Dallas didn't shoot well. They shot 26%, but they're definitely going to make some adjustments. Boston did what they did. Porzingis had a great game. This is a great start of the NBA Finals. But, Grant, Kenny, and I know this game is over. Dallas is saying, okay, we know what we got to do. Boston is saying, hey, 3 more, we got to win game 2. So we'll see what the adjustments are. But, you know, again, in times like this, I need my superstars to play well. Kyrie came back home with 6 for 19. That's not going to get it done. Luka, 12 for 26. That's good. Tatum and Brown didn't have to play well because the others carried them tonight. But, you know, Grant makes a good point. At some point, especially on the road, I'm going to need those guys to have a dominant performance because the pressure is on them, especially now. I'm happy for them. I do not have a dog in this fight. I just want to see some great basketball.
Even though you are wearing green.
This is money green, brother, not Boston green. This is money green.
This is very Celtic green.
This day and age.
This is champion green,
they have
a company
Celtics
that I just
that
acquired,
shade,
Kenny.
Congratulations on your acquisition of champion.
Yes, so this is champion green. But I have the opportunity to sit next to Jason Tatum's father. He's one of us, I must say. I'm not going to talk about our conversation, but
Justin Tatum.
Yeah, he's a basketball aficionado.
I covered him in college.
And he loves, and he loves how we, critique his son. Reminds me of my father, and Jason was looking at him and he was giving him tips, and it took me back to me and Sarge, especially in the finals. Like, damn, Hakeem just hit me with a fadeaway. Look at my dad.
Hey, let's talk about Kyrie Irving a little bit. You mentioned him.
I know you don't have to. I know what that means. I know exactly.
First
every
of all,
curse word. I know what that means. Oh, I know what this means and that means.
Yeah.
I assume you could hear it through the broadcast, but every time Kyrie Irving touched the ball tonight here at TD Garden, he was booed mercilessly, as expected by the Celtics crowd. Also wasn't very effective, Grant. Just 6 of 19 from the field. The 6 he hit were mostly difficult shots over longer defenders.
Yeah, but they have more to cheer about than boo about. So
they have lots to cheer about too.
They have more to cheer about than worry about Kyrie in this one because he really wasn't. He was ineffective for the most part. Ineffective what Kyrie Irving expectations are. How to be effective. He was ineffective in that regard. Well, he didn't dominate the game at any point. But they did cut it to 8. And if I'm Jason Kidd, and that's the clip I'm showing.
Sure.
I'm pulling that out, and I'm going, what did we do to get it to 8?
Defensive intensity picked up early.
And we're going to show those highlights because, in the finals, you don't want any doubt. I never would watch me miss a shot in the finals. I would never turn it over. Show me everything positive so I can have that and bring it into the next game.
And in fairness to Dallas, they got blown out in game 1 in the first round at the Clippers. They bounced back and won game 2. Second round at Oklahoma City, they lost in kind of embarrassing fashion at OKC, bounced back and won game 2. So this team is resilient. This team has shown in the postseason that they can make adjustments. You talked earlier about Luka. He had a good night, not a great night, a good night. 30 points, 26 shot attempts. But, Boston played him a certain way. We're talking about that in the back. They were forcing him to his right. They weren't letting him go left where he's so good at that step back. He had a couple of them during the course of the game, but they played him a certain way. And you guys know as well as anyone, you've won championships. The postseason, it's about adjustments. It's a long series. A lot can and will happen. So I do expect Dallas to, get to the film, make those adjustments, and be prepared for what Boston has done. But they're going to look. I mean, you got to get stops defensively, and you got to be more efficient on the offense. I mean, it's pretty cut and dry.
Grant, when I came to Detroit and we were in practice and guard you, they said, don't let Grant go right. You were good enough to still do it, and you just the first 2 places just went by me right.
Yeah.
So the difference is they have the talent to actually go through with the game plan.
No,
I couldn't guard you going right. It didn't matter. It didn't matter. You're going right.
But Luka and Kyrie can play better.
Yes.
The defense was really good. They made them work for everything. But you know what? We've seen them play better. I think great players will make adjustments. They're competitive. They have heart. They have pride. They set the tone on the road.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off, Grant. The whole team needs to play better. They shoot 26% from 3. They're going to get swept.
I agree.
Yep.
I agree.
Everybody has PJ, Tim Hardaway Jr., the whole team has to play better.
The way the game is played today, they're going to have to shoot better from 3, especially